Hello, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Careful Cantrip, where a group of friends from coast to coast do their absolute best to get lost in dungeons and run away from dragons. Tonight, you are here for a very special evening. As you can see, it is our Halloween special. All of our lovely costumes. You can probably guess who everybody is, but you'll see. You'll see in due time. Absolutely. So, before we get started, just want to thank everyone out there in the community for the massive amount of support and love we've been getting so far. Big round of applause for everybody out there. You guys have just been wonderful. Keep up the support. If you'd like to see more of us, we got lots of stuff coming out. We've got our RPG night on Thursdays. We've got our world building on Sundays. And, of course, you can find us on YouTube as always. Now, without further ado, why don't we crack on into tonight's episode? And hopefully, we can get the music right this time.
Fingers crossed.
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
And I think we are golden.
And silver.
So, when we last left our heroes, arriving at the hidden encampment of Survivor's Cove, you were led to Shepard, the leader of the survivors. After a much-needed cup of tea, you briefly discussed the history of the survivors and their time on the island. It seems some have been stuck on the island for many years now, unable to escape due to a strange sea creature that acts as a warden to the surrounding waters, tearing down any vessel that attempt to leave aside from the pirate ship. Our party made their way to the tent of the local tinkerers afterward, where you met the gentle giant half-orc Almeric and the sassy drow Rayner. After inspecting Trix and Alcor's equipment, Almeric told you that in order to fix your equipment, you would need the sap of a particular tree in the forest. As a way to ensure the sap is collected, Rayner insisted on joining the party for the expedition. The next morning, our heroes were led by Rayner into the forest, but were interrupted by strange noises and rustling of bushes. Trying to get a bit of an aerial view of the landscape, Pavo took to the skies, where he met his first pixie. The pixie, finding a sort of kinship with Pavo, pointed out the location of the sap trees before disappearing. Upon arriving at the trees, Trix and Eli used their superior agility to successfully maneuver through large spider webs, easily able to avoid the attention of the large spiders hidden in the canopy trees above. After collecting the sap, Rayner, Trix, and Eli spotted a strange caravan of pirates, led by an even stranger shaman. Following the convoy for a short time, you arrived at an old rotting tree in the middle of the forest. Taking cover, you watched as a perverse ritual commenced, only to watch it fail, turning its victims into a gory amalgamation of human and fish parts. The party engaged with the monstrosity, while Rayner disappeared in hopes of tracking down the fleeing shaman. When the battle concluded, a brief search by Ollie uncovered a letter seemingly to the shaman, now learning his name was Matu. Within the letter, it was discovered that Matu was given the pearl in order to raise an army for an unnamed ally, simply signing the letter with the sigil of a fish scale. After a brief search, our heroes accepted that Rayner was nowhere to be found and made their way back to the cove, only to learn that a pirate had been captured and needed to be interrogated. And then arriving at the cell, our party discovered that the man that had been kidnapped was not a pirate at all, but the kind first mate Smeltsy from the original voyage to Qatar. So, bound on his knees, the poor older gentleman has been thoroughly beaten and bruised. His clothes have been torn, and a fair amount of red patches of blood soak certain parts of his shirt. His gray mutton chops also slightly stained with blood, and quite a few welts on his faces, most likely received by either the shipwreck or the last interrogator. Smeltsy looks up to you all and says, "Thank the seas that it's all you. I almost had lost hope that there was any sensible person in this bunch. I beg of you, please tell them who I am. Tell them that you know me."
Yeah, we know him. What happened? Why is he here?
Well, after the shipwreck, I woke up on a beach on the southwestern tip of the island. There were a small group of pirate scavengers combing the beach, so I played dead until I thought they were gone. After laying motionless for it seemed like hours, I finally fled into the forest only to be discovered by a group, and that they were tracking me for at least a day and a half. It's all quite blurry and confusing now that I think about it. When I finally thought I had escaped, I was knocked unconscious, and then I woke in this cove's prison cell.
Are you sure you're telling us everything? Why would they assume that you are a villain?
Well, I just assumed that based on my clothes, I'm a sailor. Perhaps they thought I was one of the bad guys.
And are you?
Of course not. You all know me. I was on the ship for you for the last 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand why he's is there any authority people here with us, or did they leave us?
There is a guard that's standing posted out front.
Hey!
Sky was with us.
What? Ask who?
I thought the general lady was with us.
Sky.
No, she had left to taking care of some other business, leaving a guard posted out front.
Oh.
Can we tell the guard, is it Sky who's in charge here of this prisoner?
The guard comes in and you recognize it as Thomas.
Thomas, we know this guy. He was on the ship with us.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Sky
what did
was,
you do to him?
Well, I didn't do anything to him. I was just put guard here a few moments ago. I had nothing to do with any of this. Hold on. What? Wait here for a moment. And while he does, he kind of fumbles with a small set of keys as he kind of starts to unlock some of the bonds that are tying down Smeltsy. He says, "Wait here for just one moment. I'm sure we can get this all cleared up. I'll go get Shepard." And with that, post haste, he leaves the entrance to the celled area.
Does anybody have a healing spell or some water or something for him?
Water would be very nice if anybody has any water.
I shouldn't have offered.
Oh, you don't have any
I don't
water,
have any.
Okay.
I can leave to go find him some water.
No, it's quite all right. I'm sure that they'll be accommodating once they know what's happening.
Okay.
I would heal you, but I'm kind of expended right now.
No, not a problem, Mr. Ollie. I'm sure we can find something that's a bit more accommodating for all of us. I don't mean to put you guys out in any way, shape, or form. Any kind
But
of.
I should have one more good berries from last night, so I can give him one of those.
Looking at the poor old soldier, you kind of make a judgment call that perhaps he needs maybe a little bit more than good berries.
Come on, it gives you enough food for one day.
At least it will quench his hunger.
Yeah.
As you guys are all kind of standing around for a few moments, Shepard walks through the door, rushes in, and looks around and says, "Thomas asked for me to come post haste. Is there something wrong? Why is the prisoner untied right now?"
Because he's not a
You should
pirate.
not.
Yeah, he's our friend.
He came with us on the boat that we got shipwrecked on.
You know this man.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this is quite disturbing then. My apologies, sir, on behalf of myself and all of us at the Cove. This was, sometimes we get things wrong in a state of warfare that we're in. Thomas, go get Granny May. Make sure she comes and joins us post haste. We have a man here who clearly needs healing. You watch as Thomas once again runs out. And spending the next few minutes, you kind of impart all the information over to Shepard from Smeltsy. When suddenly you hear a voice coming from the doorway. Did somebody call for me? As a plump elderly lady appears at the doorway. But this woman is not like any that you've seen before. It would be best described as a mouse folk. Covered in soft, light gray fur, her large twinkling eyes look curiously around the room. Her pink little nose wiggling, making the long whiskers kind of ruffle side to side, and two large round ears on the sides of her head stick outward from a large pink and white checkered patterned bonnet that matches her dress with a white apron over top. You look down at Smeltsy to say something, but it seems he's not paying any attention at all. With wide eyes, he seems entranced by the woman that had just walked through the door. He doesn't take his eyes off her, and is barely blinking. He slowly reaches up and pulls down his red bandana from his head and pulls it towards his chest. The sound of reeds outside humming in the breeze find timing with the whistles of the wind, and as if by some magic, a melody enchants the air. You hear a small whisper under Smeltsy's breath. Be still, my heart, as he continues to stare at the lovely mouse lady who just walked through the door. Shepard speaks up. Granny May, thank you for coming post-haste. It seems we've made a terrible mistake to one of our new friend's companions. Sorry, what did you say your name was, Mr.? Smeltsy mumbles. Lovely. Smeltsy, he catches himself and clears his throat as he kind of goes beet red for a second. My name is Smeltsy. That's my name. He tries to laugh it off, but Granny May easily sees through this, as you can now see that under her fur, she seems to be blushing just a touch as well. Turning her face away to hide a small girlish grin, she bats her eyes a single time. Well, all right then. She walks over to Smeltsy. She reaches down to help him up. Let's get you back on your feet then. But Smeltsy bounds up, right to his feet. You hear his voice kind of drop an octave lower as he kind of puffs out his chest a little bit. No need, madam. It merely a scratch. And he kind of hunches over, only able to hold his superhero pose for a moment. Smeltsy kind of clutches his side and begins to topple over, but Granny May is quick to catch him. She lets out a slight giggle and says, all right there, Mr. Big Strong Man. She lowers her face down to his. Everything's going to be all right now. May's got you, yeah? Their eyes meet, and both begin to glow with bright smiles. Granny May leads Smeltsy out of the alcove, arm in arm, not taking their eyes off of each other.
Aww.
Smeltsy Shepard kind of looks back and says, very strange. Well, that's another lost lead to us then, I guess. But one more to join our group, I suppose. Power in numbers, as they say.
No, wait a minute. So you just saw what he looked like and you just chained him up and tortured him for a day? Is that who you are? I'm just curious for the future.
It's a complicated situation.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I don't take any kind of reveling in this activity in any way, but Sky believes that we have to be a bit more protective of anyone that we find. Anyone who might...
tortured him. What did he do to deserve that?
I don't know if I would say torture. There's a form of interrogation that might step over the line at times, but we are in desperate times, and sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures. I can promise you that your friend will be healed and he will recover just fine.
He seemed quite injured. Even his voice changed.
Well, if I can recall, you were all quite banged up originally when you had arrived, before you were able to have a bit of a night's rest. Perhaps there was a bit of injuries that he sustained during his shipwreck. I know a lot of us came here with a few injuries, myself included, and he kind of lifts up his shirt to show a massive scar down his forearm and says, these times are not easy. We are, without a doubt, all prisoners here for the time being. We can't take any chances with any outsiders, and if they come across as pirates or something other that might threaten our community, we have to act accordingly. I will speak to Sky and see if she will tone down her tactics. Would that be acceptable to you?
Yes.
It's a start.
We're all trying here, and none of us are perfect. But we will take your warnings and cautions into advice and try and better our ways.
Good.
As you all begin to leave the cell area with Shepard, you start to notice strange dark clouds to begin to form overhead of the island. The swirling clouds seem to originate from the ground before making its way up into the skies. Shepard looks at the clouds. Another one already? The storms of the beast seem to be increasing in intervals, that's for sure.
Should we take cover?
No,
The
the storms don't generally hit the island. They form over the island and then make their way out to sea. And typically, sometimes a few hours, sometimes a day later, we'll catch word of another shipwreck.
So you're thinking that these storms are deliberate?
I believe, and again, this is only my thought process behind all of this, but I believe that the storm clouds and the creature act as almost one. Where one goes, the other follows.
Probably that creepy shaman, Matu.
Yes, I'd like to know more about this Matu character. If only we could find a way to get some further information, and be sure this time that the individual that we capture are in fact one of the opposition faction. Perhaps the storm we can use to our advantage. If your friend saw a group of pirate scouts at the southwestern tip of the island, they may be preemptively positioning themselves for new arrivals. The storm does take a few hours to accumulate, so there may be some time for a play there. If we can get our hands on one of the actual members of the pirate collective, we may be able to discover more of their plot and, dare I say, potentially find a way off this bloody island.
And we have no time to waste. We should go there right now.
Oh, wait, what about, what's his face? Who we left there?
Rayner?
Rayner.
Rayner. Yeah.
He went chasing after them, so if he has not returned.
Think we'll bump into him there?
Either
Well,
that or
he will
got
come back
captured.
here where we
Yeah.
were told to meet, and the guard can tell him where we went.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, if you guys say so. I don't know.
I do hate to ask this of you, but if you are willing, we don't necessarily have the manpower to take on an entire troop of pirates at this point. Sky and a few of her people are once again out on a scouting mission with Rayner gone. I'm sure he'll be fine. He is a more than capable individual. But this is troubling. We might have to look into this a little bit further of where our good friend Rayner has gone to. Do you...
There are many more people that will be injured and killed if we don't act now. They will stab them when they're on the beach.
I don't disagree with you, my silver friend. If you believe that it's possible to capture one of these pirates alive and bring them here, I'm sure we can get a bit more answers, and perhaps we'll put you in charge of the actual interrogation, if possible, to ensure that there's no serious foul play.
If we want to get somebody back here alive, anyone have? Is there like a sleeping spell or potion that we could give them so we don't have to kind of like drag them back injured or kicking and screaming?
Just knock them out.
Knock them out?
Yeah.
And yeah.
What if we kill them accidentally?
Whoa. We don't have to kill people.
No, I'm not saying intentionally. I'm saying accidentally.
Once they're knocked out,
How do
we
you-
can tie them up.
Man, I
and bring 'em
accidentally stabbed that guy so hard. It was.
No, I mean like you hit them too hard over the head.
Ran
or
into
something.
my knife,
back.
really.
Well, you can
No,
roll your
okay,
punches.
whatever.
You
Fine,
don't need.
fine. It was a stupid question.
Don't use the
Fine.
pointy end of the sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Eli doesn't knock anybody out. Somebody has to take care of it.
Shepard kind of speaks up for a moment, overhearing her conversation, says, well, perhaps Granny may have some kind of brewing potion. I know that for more of the severe injuries that sometimes she prefers to put them to sleep in order to limit the amount of pain that they might be over.
Might as well bring it along. If we have time.
Okay.
Well, I'd be happy to show you where Granny May is. I wouldn't mind checking on our friend to ensure that there's no further damage or potentially hard feelings.
Just make sure you knock before you go in there, right?
Yes, you caught that as well. I mean, I've always considered Granny May to be a spry individual, but that was new for me as well. He escorts you along the beach towards the hutted areas. You pass by Almeric's store and head down 2 more doors where you find another tent that has been pitched. It has a fair amount of herbs and flowers growing outside of it. Shepard kind of points to it and says, "That's Granny May's home. I'll leave you to it, as I'm not sure I want to go in there myself." And of course, if there's anything that I can do to assist, don't hesitate to come see me at the town hall.
Thank you. And I will curtsy.
Shepard gives a slight head nod as he turns and begins to walk away.
All right, shall we go? Knock on this door, or should I just open the door and see what happens?
Open
You
the
want to see
door.
the nature channel? Here we go. In.
Okay, I'm just gonna go and try and open the door.
Whipping the cloth door back, you reveal Granny May and Smeltsy. They are both fully clothed and properly behaving. As she seems to be kind of dabbing off some of the blood that's kind of stained within his hair. She's got a variety of ointments and things on a small cart beside her as she kind of dabs at it and rubs it in various places. Smeltsy does not look like he cares at all. In fact, he no longer looks like he's in very much pain.
You feeling good there, Smeltsy?
Yeah. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. May's taking good care of me.
I bet.
She looks and says, "I hope so. I've been trained to do this for a very long time. And of course, I'd be always willing to help where I can."
Yeah.
You're a very exceptional healer, Miss May.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Is there something that brings you here today?
We would like a sleeping potion.
A sleeping potion, you say? Well, I don't necessarily deal in potions, but I do have this elixir that I make. I call it an anesthetic. New word. No one's ever thought of the word before.
Right, that's an amazing word.
What does
You
it
heard it
mean?
here first.
It means it'll knock you flat on your ass, laddie.
Ah, okay.
Oh, wow.
May we use some?
Absolutely. Bear with me for one moment, please. She kind of walks off behind a small counter and kind of fiddles about. You can hear some small bottles clinking around. She eventually comes back with it's a very light purple transparent liquid that's inside, almost the color of lavender. She hands it over to you and says, "Now, just be careful with that. You get that on an open wound or you get that in your mouth, well, you better have a nice place to lay for the next little while."
Nice. Okay. I'll take that and I'll put it in something. A bag.
All right.
I think I have one.
You
Definitely have like a bag.
You might, yeah, you probably have like a backpack or something along, or maybe like a small pouch or something along those lines.
There we go.
Well, now, if there's nothing else that I can do for you, I need to clean this here wee one up a little bit and get him some food right away before we put him to bed.
Okay, we'll leave you to that.
Two
Sure,
lovebirds.
Sure, he'll enjoy that.
As you say this, Smeltsy's face just kind of turns a bright beet red, clearly a little embarrassed, clearly a little excited, very much like a 15-year-old schoolboy who's just met the woman of his life.
Oh, don't be embarrassed, Smeltsy. It's a beautiful thing.
He seems to be much better with the blood rushing to his face.
As long as he doesn't keep bleeding all over my floor. He said, "No, I would do that at all. Not at least not on purpose, May. I'm a man of respectful statures."
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Leaving Granny May behind, you make your way out into the streets once again, the makeshift streets of the town. Is there anything else you'd like to do before we head on out?
What time is it now?
It's probably at this point it's getting a little late in the day. Still a fair amount of sunlight, minus the clouds that seem to be forming overhead. But you probably guess that it's somewhere around 3 or 4 o'clock.
Okay. I'm going to go get my my armor.
Okay.
I'll come.
Okay, come on.
Okay.
The two of you walk a few doors down once again into Almeric's shop. He's busy working away on something, and sees you all come in. "Ah, welcome back, my friends. What have you brought me? Were you able to secure the sap I was looking for?"
Yes, we were, but who has it?
Oh,
Is that Eli?
Oh, Eli.
That's why Eli doesn't have any water anymore.
Yeah. Oh no, that was an
Makes
oil
sense.
flask.
Oh, it was another flax, yeah. Is Eli with us actually?
No.
Yeah, right away.
Well, it doesn't
Eli's still
matter.
back on the beach, staring at his
Okay.
shoelaces.
Okay. Well, do you want me to go get Eli? Because I know you guys have like a thing going on. little battle. Do we like Eli? I'm just asking because
I think
on your
Eli is
team.
fantastic. I don't know what you mean. It's a great little one.
I mean, yeah, we had a bit of an incident.
You don't say.
He just scares easy, that's all.
Well,
Well, was there a reason to scare the little one?
Well, he was being attacked by plants, and
Ah,
I
yeah.
was just trying to help him out, but it doesn't like fire very much.
No, I can understand that. Yes. Plants are very scary to small ones. They can get lost very easily.
Yeah, definitely. So just a question: once you get the sap, how long will it take to fix the armor?
Well, Rayner has not returned in any way, so I can start right away on you and your friend's armor.
Perfect.
Should take me no more than, say, an hour.
Would you also be able to mend my mace? It seems to eroded a bit since you were attacking a goo monster.
Are you yelling that from outside the building, Ollie?
Yes.
Just out into the ether.
Sorry, I was out of it. I was trying to remember who Eli was. Anyway, I come into the shop holding my face up high.
Ah, my favorite, the metal man. Come, my friend. Welcome back. What can I do for you?
I was just thinking out loud a second ago. I need to get my mace fixed.
You don't
I was
say?
attacking a goo monster and it eroded
yes.
a bit.
Goo monsters. Yes, of course. No idea what you're talking about, but I can try and fix your mace for you. It's a little bit different. Possibly have to replace the ball head altogether if it's corroded. Perhaps you can leave it with me for the hour, and I can see what I can do to fix it for you.
Thank you very much. That would be great.
Well, if there's nothing else I can do for you all, I should begin work on all of your items.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you. Let's go get Eli.
Okay, so we do like Eli then. I should be nice to Eli?
I think so. He's very nice.
Eli has a sap. We should be nice to Eli.
Okay. Just checking. I got your back.
You know you can decide who you like and who you don't like.
Well, I'm still on the fence about Eli, but you know, he started doing that weird slurpy thing at you, and I thought that was weird, so
I don't know, I don't mind Eli. I have no problem with Eli. I just think he scares easy, that's all.
Okay. All right. Just doing a check-in, you know. These are all new people to us, you know.
Yeah, and you trust a lot of them.
Why not?
Yeah, I know. Why not?
Yeah,
By the way,
I know.
Ollie's still standing about a foot away from you while you guys are having this conversation. So,
Ollie, are you coming back to get?
I was just waiting for you guys to finish.
Oh.
Let's
Okay.
go.
All right, let's go. Let's get Eli.
walking back outside, you can see your other companions kind of standing around, some looking off into the horizon over the sands. Some of them kind of surveying around the area, trying to get a sense of the rest of the town, seeing if they can find any other individuals there.
Do you see Eli anywhere?
Yeah, Eli's standing right there with everybody.
Oh, wow.
I know he's short.
Usually when I say your group, yeah.
Hi, hey, Eli.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's so...
Eli, why are you so sassy?
I wasn't being sassy.
That was a little sassy.
Was it? Oh, I'm sorry.
I couldn't say hi to you. I get such weird hot and cold vibes from you. I don't even know.
I feel like I'm being perfectly friendly.
Okay. All right. Well, you have that sap that we need for our equipment and stuff.
I'm gonna give her the sap, but I want to try to can I try a little move where I pretend it's in one hand, but then it's in the other hand?
Oh, do a little sleight of hand? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go ahead and give me a sleight of hand check, please.
Oh, natural 20!
Oh my god.
Well done. Natural 20, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Big days for all. So as Elara, you watch as he produces this small oil flask filled with the sappy syrup from the tree, and as he goes to put it in your hand, you hold out your hand for but a brief moment, and instead of the bottle, he gives you a big high five. No idea where the bottle went.
Where'd the What just happened? Where'd the bottle go?
Okay, then I give her the bottle.
Oh, that's kind of a fun trick. Like,
Right? My
I'm
perk.
kind of annoyed, kind of impressed.
You guys
Alright.
you went to the armor man already?
Yeah, but we have to go back to give him this stuff.
How long did he say it would take to fix your equipment?
Oh, hi,
About a-
Pavo.
Or
An hour?
yeah.
Do
Hello,
we
Eli.
do we have that time? Do we want to wait? I guess we.
Well, we could take
Yeah.
a short rest
Yeah.
while we wait.
I
Okay.
think we need the armor before we go into potential battle, for sure.
If that's what you need.
Well, not everyone's so cushy with all these feathers.
You gotta use what you got.
I guess. I don't wear a lot of armor either.
That's why you stand in the back so much.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's why, I'm sure.
All right, let's go bring this staff.
Okay, bringing the sap back into the shop, Almeric sees you. Ah, my friends, you've returned! Ah, many, many thanks. You've brought the sap for me this time.
Yes.
Very good, very good. Well, I will begin post haste for you. Try and get these fixed up as quickly as possible.
Wait, I would like to try and do the same trick that Eli just did.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh god, I wanted to see that.
Okay. Is it sleight of hand? Check?
It is a sleight of hand check.
He's going to steal everything.
Oh boy. It's not too bad. 17.
17. Okay. So as you try and do the quick maneuver, thinking you know what Eli had done the original time, you get it from one hand into the other. It looks like you're passing it over to Almerac, and as you do, a loud clink is heard as it falls down out of your other hand onto the counter. He kind of just looks at you without, like, kind of just a straight up deadpan, not knowing exactly. Did you mean to drop that?
Yes, I did. Absolutely.
Very good,
And I will
very
do a
good.
spin and go down and pick it up and give it to him. Wasn't that a cool trick?
Of course, sir. You must be one of those masters of the arcane arts that I always hear about. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Illusions.
Perhaps you could show me another one of your tricks, I guess.
Yes. And I will. Oh my god. And I will.
Think back.
I will,
What you doing? What you doing, Elara?
I will cast minor illusion, and it says I can create a smell, and I will create the smell of rotten eggs. And I will say, I'll cast my minor illusion spell. I forget. Is it verbal? Hold on. No, it's not. So
Okay.
I take my bit of fleece and I move my hands around in the air, and I will just say, and now breathe in deeply with me.
He says, that is not my older brother did the same trick to me. That's you need to stop eating whatever you're eating, little one. That
That wasn't me.
of course it wasn't. Yeah. Oh, pull my finger. Yeah. Ho 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 ho. I know your tricks. It's perhaps when you get better at things, you can potentially come show me again.
Okay. I have some work to do, but that was a pretty cool trick. I'm not gonna lie.
Sure. Yes. Very good.
It was.
Of course. Right. Now, if you'll please, I'm going to try and get to my work now that my building smells like fart.
You're welcome, and I will do another curtsy and turn and leave.
nods his head, pulling his goggles down, and pulling a small handkerchief up just to his nose. Walking outside of the tent, again, you see your group, including Eli. They're all there. You can count them all.
Hey guys! Good
Hey.
news. Good news. Our stuff is gonna be ready soon.
Nice.
We just got to hang out for a bit, I guess, until it's ready.
Okay. Is there anything?
Great. Well, I'm gonna take a nap.
Okay.
Right here on the floor, on the
Why
ground. I don't know.
We're on the beach, right?
That's true.
I've slept in worse places.
Trix is already kind of laying out as she's saying. She's like, yeah, it's fine. Just like gonna pass out right then and there.
Like what kind of places? I say louder.
I just ignore her and go.
Oh my
Fair enough.
God.
All right. So, do you guys want to take a short rest?
I will
Spend the
sit
hour
down,
just kind of hanging out.
Did
do
I?
a
I
little
can't,
meditation while I
I-
rest for the hour.
I can't tell if I got any HP taken for me last time. I feel like it was maybe 2 points. Yeah, I might as well. Okay.
Well, luckily for you, young Eli, we do have it live now up on YouTube. You go check it out. You can watch it all back and learn exactly where you lost those hit points.
Okay, I'll take a short rest. I wanted to go see. I thought did Granny May get a bunch of cats?
What
As
is
a
with
mouse,
cats in the
as a mouse folk, I'm not sure if cats
Oh, I
are
haven't-
really her thing.
I had a note about it. Okay, never mind then. Wait, let me confirm.
There was the Tabaxi Gregory that you guys had met.
No, I heard that. It's fine. I'll find it and then I will follow up with that at another time.
Well, if we go back and look at the tapes, we can double check to see exactly, and
Okay.
I'm happy to retcon anything that is outside
Okay.
the realm.
Okay, I'm just gonna take a short rest for now.
Okay, so you all kind of spend a few moments kind of getting yourself settled. Trix is already completely passed out cold, snoring away loudly, kind of not a care in the world. Pavo, you...
Sorry, can I have a conversation during a short rest, or is that gonna?
No, you can absolutely have a conversation. That's no
Okay.
problem. No, you have to stand perfectly still,
Well-
trying your best not to make a noise. It's the only way a short rest works.
Okay. Okay. Hey, Alcor.
Yes, Elara.
Can I talk to you?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna pull.
Usually,
Can you?
usually you never ask. You just do. I'm just
I know.
surprised.
I know, me too. Can you? And I'll just like awkwardly like shuffle away from the group.
Okay. You guys kind of make your way probably about 20 feet from the nearest person, just outside of earshot.
Okay, I just activate mind link and I let her
Hey.
reply.
Can I notice?
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
Make a notice check.
Eli, you watch the two as they kind of scurry away, trying to keep a bit of an eye on them. You find their relationship seems very odd as they just kind of stand there and stare at each other intently from just a few feet away, not saying a word to each other.
So I say not out loud.
Yeah, we'll assume you two are mind linked right now. You're having your telepathic gossip time.
I say I've been feeling like just like kind of weird about what happened in the cave with that blob seaweed thing that we fought.
Yeah.
I mean, like there was these guys and we couldn't do anything to save them and they all died right in front of us. and we didn't do anything. We just stood there and we hid.
I understand that, but at the same time, what did you want to do? I mean, the shaman seems like a pretty powerful person.
I know.
There were like 2 other guys. I'm not sure we would have made a difference at this point.
I guess. I know when we left, I knew we were going to have like crazy adventures and stuff. I don't know. I think that was the first time we've ever been in a position where like I couldn't really help someone.
You know, it's sure on Lumnidor we haven't been in this kind of situation where people died in front of our eyes. But I think we come to Qatar and that's something we're going to be facing a bit more on the road. It's a wilder world over here, so we're going to be facing more of those, I guess. Doesn't mean we like it, but it means we have to be careful.
Yeah, I think
maybe one day we'll be able to save everybody, but until that day, we need to make sure that we watch each other and make sure that we don't get into too much trouble.
Yeah, I think, I think that's what I feel like I know what you're going to say to this, but I kind of, when we left Lumnidor, I mean, of course, like I want to carry on Rustilian's work and stuff like that, but I came to Qatar mostly because, I mean, you, so I just realized that, like, I want to get powerful so that I'm never in that horrible situation again, so that I can fireball that shaman guy, because he deserves it. He killed these innocent people. I don't care if they're pirates or not. They didn't want to die. Nobody wants to die. So anyways, what I'm trying to say is I guess I came here to help you find the things that you need, but I'm just wondering if you'll help me also get super powerful and find all the knowledge that I need to do that.
I mean, we're a team and we're going on that trip together. Of course, I'll help you. Okay. And again, I know those guys died, but if the spell would have been successful, I'm not sure they would have been happy becoming whatever they wanted them to become. Because the spell didn't want to kill them, it wanted to change them to something else. So
that's true.
I don't understand what you're saying. And yes, we're coming on this trip together, and we're going to search for things on this new land. And as much as I'm searching for things, you are searching for your own things. So we'll see what we come across. We'll see where our path leads.
All right. Thanks. I was just feeling super weird about that. I don't know. I feel like, yeah.
So I just have a question. I know Eli is scared of fire, but you think if I throw like ice knife at things which are near him, is he going to freak out too? Or is he going to be okay? Ice is different.
Probably. I mean, ice is the opposite of fire, right? So
it should be okay, right?
I think so. That makes complete sense. I think you absolutely should try and ice knife him.
Perfect. Thank you for
It'll probably soothe any burns that he has too. It could be a kind gesture.
So I should do fire first and ice knife right after that.
No, not fire again.
Okay.
It's only been like, has it been a day? I forget now. It's been a day? Yeah.
About. Yeah.
Almost. Yeah. So he's probably still a little burnt, or if not all. I think he's just being dramatic, but whatever. Yeah. Just offer to, throw some ice on his burns.
No, I don't want to throw an ice knife at him. Just if he gets attacked by a creature, can I throw an ice knife at the creature?
Right.
I don't want him to be scared because all of a sudden a piece of ice coming near him.
Well, I mean, that's just, friendly fire is going to happen. I think that's fine.
I don't know. I haven't seen many halfling in Lumnidor. Maybe I don't know how to be around them.
Maybe, but I'm not doing weird things to Eli.
Not anything that you wouldn't do otherwise. No.
Right, exactly. All right. Well, thanks for listening to me, and I will give him a noogie, or attempt to give him a noogie.
I'm just so happy I'm the one having the mind link and not you coming to my mind whenever you want. I feel like it would be so intrusive.
I would never stop talking.
I know. I just realized it. I'm like, damn, Lord.
All right. So while you guys are having a conversation, and let me just say that I am so proud of you guys out of game that it took you 3 episodes to agree that friendly fire is a thing that happens. Just want to say it took you a whole 3 episodes. So well done, team.
No, two characters agreed that it is something that happened. I don't know about the rest of the party.
Fair comment. So while you guys are off having this conversation, Eli and Ollie, what are you guys doing? You seem to be the only two that are still kind of standing. Pavo's lost in a bit of meditation where Trix is now kind of drooling out the side of her mouth as she's kind of spread eagle out over the sand.
I'm just kind of looking at my scimitar that I found on the beach and figuring, I might try it out for a while. Even though I'll get my mace back, maybe I'll like it.
I'm watching Elara and Alcor, so they're literally just standing there staring at each other?
Yeah, for the most part, they're just kind of staring at each other. Occasionally, Elara will make some kind of hand gestures, but otherwise, they're just kind of just standing there quietly, not saying a word, intently looking at each other.
Okay. Can I call Ollie over? Hey, Ollie.
Hello.
What do you think is going on over there?
It looks like 2 friends chatting.
But they're not chatting, though. They're just there, looking at each other. Occasionally making dramatic gestures.
True. I wasn't staring at them long enough to realize their mouths were not moving.
What do you think is going on with that?
Maybe it is some form of meditation between friends.
Weird.
I have heard people meditating and going to different planes of existence. Maybe they are just lost in each other's eyes in a different plane of existence.
Weird. Okay.
I'm sure it could be, what does Elara always say? A romance.
Maybe
it's a romance.
Do you think?
I don't know. I've never had a romance.
Me either.
Maybe that's what it looks like. Maybe, they say that when you're with someone for so long and you enjoy their company, that you can just enjoy the silence with them as well.
As
Maybe
you guys,
that is what love is.
As Ollie says this, Elara lets out another.
I don't know. That doesn't look like love to me. I think they're crazy.
Well, I've never heard of... Well, I've heard of a thing between lovers, but it was never really explained to me properly, so maybe that is what a hand job is.
Can we double check the mature rating on this? Can you do that? Thanks. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
I want to give him a high 5.
High hand job.
You're probably right, Ollie. That's probably a hand job for sure.
Explain that to my son now.
So, as the two discuss the finer points and intricacies of the birds and bees, so to speak, the Pavo, you find yourself falling into a relatively deep trance. One that you've never really been to before. And you begin to have all these flashes back to your days at the monastery and hearing more tales of some of the elder brothers who had been out into the deserts before, and their immense battles that they took, and kind of retrospectively thinking to yourself about, how they would have positioned themselves and how they would have conducted themselves in these type of battles that you yourself are now starting to face. Trix, you're unconscious. You're having a grand old time. So, about an hour later, you come to kind of check your horns to make sure your trinkets are all there. They're all still there. You kind of stretch it out and see that all of your companions are now gathered together. You can see that Alcor seems to have recovered his armor. Ollie looking a little distraught as he looks down at his mace that still seems to be relatively corroded. You also see your few pieces of armor that are laid out in front of the rest of the group.
Left my mace with the blacksmith.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah. So
wait, my armor's there. You don't have to go pick it up.
For the sake of the narrative, we're just going to say that they went back to Almarak and he gave you guys your stuff.
Oh, perfect.
So
All right.
unfortunately,
Oh, great.
Almarak
This is done.
was unable to fix your mace for you, Ollie.
All right. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to use my scimitar from now on.
Right. Putting your mace away, you take out your scimitar and kind of wave it around a little bit. It's a little bit more flimsy than what you're used to, but it probably hurts stuff. So it's probably at this point in time, it's getting close to around 5:30. You can see that the storm clouds above have drawn a serious mass to it. They seem to be getting darker and more opaque, but it hasn't actually started to drift off of the island as of yet. So seemingly you might have some time.
All right.
What would you guys like to do?
Maybe we should go recog the area. Recon the area.
Just think about it again.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, just check it out. Maybe we could even make a plan.
haha.
I don't know.
I could see the cogs in your brain turning.
Do you have
What plan
cogs
would
in
you
your brain?
suggest?
I never asked.
Who would you ask that to?
I suppose whoever created me.
Do you know who created you?
I hate to break this little
Uh.
party up, but don't we have somewhere to go?
Yeah, we can.
True, we should be going now.
Let's walk and
Sorry. Okay. All right.
So, assuming that you guys have now begun to leave the cove, leaving out the back entrance as the one entrance that allows you in and out of the cove, you begin to make your way to the southwestern tip of the island. And Elara and Ollie, you're welcome to continue your conversation. It'll probably take about half an hour to get to the spot that you think Smeltsy was referring to.
While we're walking, I'm going to keep an eye out for another stick on the ground that's roughly the same size as my former quarterstaff.
Are you just kind of are you actively looking for it, or are you just kind of keeping an eye out?
Actively looking while we're walking.
Okay, make an investigation check for me.
Investigation. 12.
12. So after a little while, you come across not necessarily a branch, but actually a long piece of bamboo. It's still in the ground, but it's probably the same length and same thickness as what your staff was.
Right. Is it still on the ground, or do I need to break it off?
You can break it off with a. If you will perform a athletics check for me, please.
Athletics. 16.
16. Oh yeah, no, you're able to. You're relatively able to easy to yank it out of the ground. It takes a little while, but you do yank it out. It still has a bit of its root on, and being you try a little bit to snap it off, but it seems that the bamboo is just a little too stiff. You'd probably need a blade of some kind to cut through the bottom to even it out.
Well, if it's possible while we're walking, I'll take out my wood carver's tool and start just working on it.
Make a sleight of hand check for me at disadvantage, because you are walking while you're doing this.
Yeah, disadvantage. Okay. 12.
Wow, 12, very good. Yeah, no, you're it takes you a little while, probably about the entire length of the trip, but you're able to finally whittle off enough of it. I'm assuming you're not bringing it to a point. It's just kind of like your old staff, just flat on either ends.
Correct.
Oh yeah, okay. So you're easy to shorten it off and get any roots off. Any kind of little pieces that might be sticking out, you now have this very nice long bamboo staff.
Awesome.
All right. So you believe that you're getting closer as you can now. You now see that you're slightly on an elevated area, probably close to the edge of a small cliff or something along those lines, being able to see out onto the open sea. Let's see. Oh yeah, no problem. So you all, as you walk forward, clearly not trying to hide his position in any way, shape, or form, you begin to hear a loud whistling of what appears to be some kind of sailor shanty. You then come across a man who seems to be slightly squatting behind a tree. His pants slightly loosened around his waistline as he kind of whistles. You hear a loud voice coming from way off in the distance saying, "Hey, Lavi! Careful what you wipe with! Don't want to have to worry about your delicate bottom!" And you can hear a group of men kind of giggle, not giggle, but chuckle to themselves. The man squatting behind the tree yells back, "Oh, well, what if I cut off your hands and use your middle finger to do my business?" A couple of seconds later, you hear the man yell back, say, "Hear that, boys? Lavi wants my finger in his bumhole." And they all start laughing at each other. The man kind of puts his head back down and mumbles to himself, "Pricks," and continues to whistle away.
Let's get this guy. I think they'll notice. Let's get in.
You think these are the pirates?
I don't know. Do they look like pirates? Whatever that means.
What does a pirate look like?
I don't know, but it seems like everyone in this campaign knows what a pirate looks like. Scruffy
Well,
beard.
except for the people that captured Smeltsy.
My only observation is they don't seem to be afraid of being caught. So,
Laura, make a history check for me.
I would love to make a history check. Oh, natural 20.
Natural 20. Well done.
Oh, yeah. Do you want the actual number though?
No, not at all. It's a natural 20. All right. So, thinking back to your schooling days, you remember hearing tales of pirates in fairy tales, more of the cautionary side of the fairy tales about how not to live your life. You were told that these were at times very, very dirty individuals, very crass, very, very vulgar. From what you're seeing in front of you, he ticks all the boxes of pirate.
Okay, I say, hey guys, I've read a lot of books in my life. And they all tell me that is the definition of a pirate.
Wow.
Can we make that canon that every book you've ever read was simply about pirates and they all had footnotes in it, even like mathematics books where it's like, E equals empty square. By the way, pirates are dirty and vulgar beings.
Yes.
So shall we just sneak up and apprehend this person?
You mean
Well, I know.
you want Eli to sneak up and then stab him with a sleep potion on it and just like
Wait, I
not
have
hard, just
I have
Or
a
I
great
could
idea.
put it on my dart.
I could
yeah.
send Shadow in and then lure him to follow Shadow back
Shadow.
to Eli. My fox. And Shadow kind of growls at you.
Pavo, you're taken aback as you now realize that the fur wrapped around Elara's neck is an actually living creature, as it seems to have been sleeping around her neck for quite some time.
This is Shadow. I thought you met Shadow.
I didn't meet Shadow.
Oh, this is Shadow.
Yeah,
This
you
is my
wanted to eat
familiar.
them.
Is this
What? You
He
wanted
wanted
to eat
Yeah.
my... No.
I think
yeah,
so.
the white fox.
Well, I thought that was dinner you summoned.
No.
No. that's our pet.
Your pet. You own this animal?
I don't own this animal. This animal is my friend and hangs out with me.
Can it leave whenever it wants?
Yes?
Nope. Does it come when you call? Has to.
Yes? Because
Is he
it
actually
loves
saying
me.
that? Is Alcor saying that? Because I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, are you saying that out loud?
Yeah, just murmuring, just in the back.
I will keep a straight face though and hold the lie.
I laugh.
Wow.
Hmm.
Interesting. Well, we have other matters at hand.
Yes, well, like I said, instead of going in there with all the people, I could send Shadow in, and maybe Shadow can try and lure one of the pirates back to us, and then Eli can...
I'm not going
But
to
you just
stab
see-
anybody.
That's why I stopped. My plan just ended there.
What if we just dab the elixir in with my dart and I throw a dart at him?
Mm.
That sounds great. We should do that.
Sounds like a good idea.
So I just
But-
got to get within 20 feet of him.
Oh, okay. Is there any bushes in within 20 feet of this dude?
There's a
Sure, I
fair
can
amount.
camouflage.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of thickets of bush around a couple other trees. It's not heavily wooded. You can kind of see through the tree. You can see the forest through the trees, ladies and gentlemen. There's probably ample places to hide. Mind you, I'm not sure how much hiding a neon fluorescent green and
I
yellow
was
bird
gonna
could do,
say.
but you can always give it a shot.
I could hide.
Yeah.
You can
Plain
certainly
sight
try.
hide.
Oh boy, I never liked that.
Well, I could try
Okay,
to
so-
sneak up.
I'll take out the little elixir so you can,
I'll dab my dart in it.
yeah, and then I'm also gonna, just in case, get everybody to put some on their weapons too.
Okay, Eli, give me a. Actually, hang on a second. I gotta do this first. So, looking at the vial that Granny May gave you, based on now, you're not sure kind of how much you need to put on it to have that kind of effect. Is it a drop? Is it a dollop? Is it a glam? You have no idea. Judging roughly on what you've researched in terms of things like poisons and elixirs, you probably have only about 3 uses.
Okay, so where are these going? For sure, one for Pavo. I feel like, who can hide best?
Eli, you pretty
Yeah.
sneaky.
I
Okay.
can hide pretty well, actually.
But just in case, just in case. Okay, why don't we do, okay, we'll dip 2 of the weapons in, and then worst case scenario, we'll like save a little bit for him to drink, or I think she said that we can put it on a wound.
It's a good
Okay.
idea.
All right,
Okay.
let's do that.
Cover all our
Why not?
bases.
Find a few leaves nearby that he might grab and douse those.
Well, that'd be getting a lot closer.
Not a bad idea.
Just hand him the leaf. There you go.
Take a feather off. Yeah.
The forest medieval version of Can You Spare a Square?
Okay. Okay, so
right.
let's do that.
All right, so dab it in.
All
Gonna
right.
attempt to get within 20 feet of this guy.
All right, so so we're getting 2 of your darts in the elixir, and then 1 is being left for the time being. I just want to be clear.
I was only using 1 dart.
Oh, you're gonna okay. So
because
we've
somebody else's.
so someone else has put it. I thought I heard that it was going on 2 weapons.
My
Yeah.
sword. I'm gonna come up like, okay, so say the guys over here. I want to like do one of these. So if Pablo
My dart, her sword.
I'll
Okay.
be kind of like on the side watching to see what happens.
Okay. How close do you want to get?
Not very close.
I need to
About-
get within 20 feet.
Okay.
I'll be about an equal distance, like a triangle.
Okay. Fair enough. So I need you both to first give me a couple stealth checks for me.
Couple?
1 each. Sorry.
All right.
10.
18.
Okay, so trying to keep it as quiet as possible. Eli, you give the natural kind of trying to motion, give hand motions and signals without creating any word. Eli, as you do, you turn, and a loud snap is heard underneath your foot as you seem to have stepped directly on a branch.
Noise.
The pirate kind of begins to kind of look around, not sure.
I don't panic. I don't panic. I feel like that's actually a good thing because he's distracted. So I'm just gonna be nice and still and maybe try and get a little bit lower.
Okay.
I will cast minor illusion of a little squirrel on the opposite side where he can see it. And I'll have it run off away.
Oh, okay. So yeah, no, the at first he kind of perks up when he hears the snap of the twig, and then sees the little squirrel kind of pass by almost directly in front of him, running in the opposite direction. Kind of looks and says, "Stupid woodland creatures! Doesn't even look like a good dinner for us tonight." And he kind of squats back down a little bit and goes back to, oh Jesus, oh. Pavo,
Still
you
not
begin
hanging
to
over, get 'em.
Pavo, you begin to make your way kind of around a small thicket. There seems to be a few thicker trees that might kind of blur the large wingspan of your body. You're able to get to position that you believe is within 20 feet. Eli, you kind of circle around trying to triangulate, get this guy directly in the center. You end up a little bit closer than Pavo is. You're probably around 15 feet, but you're still pretty well covered as the pirate doesn't seem to be paying any attention whatsoever.
Okay.
When I'm in rage, I want to throw my dart.
Okay. I will go ahead and get you to make an attack roll for me, please and thank you. Ranged attack.
Yep, throwing my dart. $17 to hit.
Nice.
17. So, you wind up a little nervous about all of this because, again, you've tried your best in life to take a bit of a more passive approach. Still feeling a little jumbled about the feelings of being involved in this kind of combat. It's a very stressful moment for you. You kind of line up, your hands slightly shaking a little bit. As you lean back, you all watch with anticipation as the dart is thrown. And that's where we're going to take a small break. We will return in just but a few moments, ladies and gentlemen. Can't help but leave you on cliffhangers because God knows that's always a good time. We're going to take your bathroom breaks, go get yourself some more apple juice like I will be. Hey, stick around. We will be back in just a few short moments. Love you. Whoa, I hit the thing. Sorry, my bad.
Accuracy.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We missed you while we were gone. Well, I did. I don't know about the rest of our cast. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure we all missed you. When we last left off, we were attempting to attack a pirate that was hiding behind a tree, trying to do his business in private. And our good friend Pavo decided to launch a potion-tipped dart toward it, seemingly hoping to knock the pirate unconscious. So, Pavo, as your hand shakes, bringing your hand up, throwing it towards the pirate, all of you watch as the dart kind of blurs out of vision. It's just moving a little too quickly, unable to see if it does in fact hit its target. However, a moment later, you hear a loud thud and watch as the pirate topples over.
I have a question. Was he like mid pooping action?
Did he
We're
fall
not
in
sure what the thud was.
Make
Wait, was it
Pirates do get a lot of fiber in their diet.
Oh my god.
person size?
Eli, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. We're not going down this
did.
road. No, we're not. We don't want to know what it is. I don't want to know what it is.
He fall in it?
Jesus.
Make sure we don't leave a trail back to where we're going.
Moving forward, so what would everyone like to do?
I'm gonna crawl closer because I know I'm closer to check that he's out.
Okay. So, being very careful where you crawl, you make your way over to the pirate. He does seem to be kind of splayed out flat on his back. You can see that his eyes are closed. He looks to be out.
Okay. I'll I don't know, maybe whistle or make a quick gesture for Pavo to come over or for the rest of the group to come over.
Okay.
I start heading over.
I'll look around first to make sure that there's no one too close to us.
Okay. Make a perception check for me. This time for real.
Okay. 9.
9. Looking around, again, the forest isn't too crowded. It is pretty sparse, with a few areas that are a little bit more congested than others. From what you can tell, there doesn't seem to be anyone around.
Okay. All right. I'll make a quick gesture or sound for everyone to come over.
Okay, so doing a tiny little bird call, the group starts to advance on your position. Everybody makes their way over and see this pirate kind of splayed out, his shirt kind of covering his vital regions, if you will, pants still slightly around the ankles. snoring away like a baby.
Nice
Not-
work, Pavo.
I'll attempt to cover him up, pull his pants up.
Sure. Kind of looking away as you kind of yank up the trousers. You seem to do a pretty good job of it.
Good.
You seem to do a pretty good job.
Yep. Well, let's just grab his hand, start dragging him out of here.
All right, I'll help, but I won't actually try. I'll just put my hands and pretend to help.
I'm watching the
I would
ground,
help.
making sure I don't step in anything.
I would like to help, but I would like to be useless. I just want to. I'm actually trying so
What?
hard,
So,
but I'm so small. You know what I mean? You know when the kid tries to help? That's the vibe that I'm going for.
Okay.
Grab an ankle then.
so Pavo grabs the two arms as Alcor grabs the two legs. Elara kind of holds just one of the ankles loosely as Eli, seemingly trying to help lift the middle of the body, is kind of actually now just dangling off the ground as he hangs from the middle of the pirate's waist.
I'll let go,
All right.
and then I'll be sad about how small I
You
am.
can go underneath and hold up.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. I like that.
Okay, so Eli kind of positioning himself underneath, occasionally kind of jumping a little bit to push it up, thinking that he's like, yeah, I'm helping, no problem.
All right, get out of here before they notice he's gone.
Yeah.
All right, so quickly making your escape. You're probably about another 100 yards away before you start to hear the other pirates begin to call for his friends, or call for their ally. Taking this as a sign that you should GTFO. You guys kind of hurry up your pace and be not run, but walk power walk, if you will, with the unconscious pirate hanging in between you. It takes you another probably about half an hour to make your way back to the cove. By this time, the sun has now actually started to set. You see the beautiful blue or purples and pinks kind of cascading over the waters. A little bit of a semi-sun still sticking up before it heads to bed for the night. You immediately take... where are you taking the pirate?
Should we take him back to where we freed our friend Smeltsy?
Let's dump him outside of there.
Or
In the cage.
in the cage?
Yeah.
Dumping him in the caged areas. He seems to be unconscious. He seems to be doing fine otherwise, still breathing.
Can I go through his pockets?
You absolutely can.
Okay.
Go ahead and make an
Like
investigation check
Hold
for
her
me.
walking. She's underneath the check in the pockets.
I'd like to also
And 6.
tell the guard that this is definitely a pirate this time.
Thomas kind of looks at you and looks back at the pirate and says, "Well, if you're sure this time, who am I to judge? I'm just a guard here." Eli, you rummage through the pirate's pockets. There's really not much to be found in there. You do pull out a handful of thick fan leaves.
It's totally paper.
I wanna throw it at him.
Okay. So clearly distraught, you all watch as Eli pulls it out and is like, "What the frick? I want this," and kind of just tosses it over to kind of cover parts of the pirate. A little bit, kind of one of the leaves kind of sticks to his forehead as Eli begins to walk out of the cell.
At least they weren't used.
I'm hoping they weren't.
Oh,
Go wash your hands.
gross.
I guess we should go find Shepherd. Someone maybe
Yeah.
wait by the cage.
Well,
Yeah.
Thomas speaks up and says, I can handle all of that for you, and walks over and uses the same key that he used to unlock all of Smeltsy's binds and the actual door to the cell itself. He kind of relocks it all.
Cool.
Is he comfortable in there though? Like, we don't really know. We don't know if he's doing bad things yet, really.
He's definitely relieved.
I mean, you read all those books. You said he was a pirate, like
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, but just because he's in a bad life doesn't mean he's making bad decisions.
Huh?
I mean, the books did say you shouldn't be a pirate.
But he is not injured. We captured him
Yeah,
He's
without
asleep.
attacking him. So
that's all I'm saying. As long as he's comfortable, he's fine.
I agree with Ollie. I think he does look more relieved. Right?
Oh my
We
god,
did-
what is this episode?
Taking it to a whole new level.
Gone to shit.
Oh no.
I think he's good. I think he's okay.
he's
Okay.
fine.
If
And we
he's
have not
nice,
hurt him in any
If
way.
he's nice, we can let him go and he can abandon his pirate life.
Yeah,
There you go.
that seems fair.
We'll see.
So are we just waiting for Shepard then?
We can go find him.
No, Thomas went.
Oh.
No, Thomas
No,
is
Thomas
he
is-
was
Thomas locked the cage.
yeah, Thomas is locking up the
Lock him up.
cage.
Oh, I thought he said he was gonna go. I can go.
Shepard.
Okay, you want me to go get Shepard? Okay, I'll go. I'll go get Shepard.
Oh, he's the leader.
Okay. You all wait for but a few short moments until Eli returns, Shepard in tow. I can't believe it. You were able to capture one of the pirates. Now, you're sure this is one of the pirates this time?
Yes.
Yeah,
We're pretty sure.
we are like.
And how are you sure of this time? Do you have some type of test that you do? Elara, you seem to be the individual who was most concerned over who the captives are. Are you confident that this is in fact a pirate this time?
By definition, yes.
Okay.
I read a lot of books on pirates.
So you would consider yourself a piratologist then?
Yes.
Very good. Very
What have
good.
you
Well,
found?
we're very, very glad that someone of your stature is here. Well, I mean, he does look quite indisposed at this point. I'm assuming
We need to talk to him first to find out
of
what
course,
he's all about.
yes, of course. But he seems to be unconscious at this point. I'm assuming that this was probably the work of Granny May. I could tell her elixirs anywhere. He most likely will be out for quite a few hours. Probably best to leave him for the time being. I'll ensure that Thomas knows, as well as Sky, that no harm is to come to this individual until you've all had your chance to say your piece with him.
Okay,
Cool.
that's great.
Very good. Thomas, you'll watch over. Ah, yes, of course, Shepard. I will be glad to watch over the prisoner. Yes, and ensure that no one enters in here other than myself, our companions here, and Sky. Right away, sure. Absolutely. Well then, if there's any other business that we don't have to attend to, perhaps we can go have a quick bite to eat. I'm sure you're all starving after a long day like you've had so far.
Yes.
Yes.
Is he back
I
yet?
am all right.
And Rayner, yeah.
Yeah, is Rayner back?
No, unfortunately not. No one's heard from Rayner as of yet. We are beginning to fear the worst.
Shouldn't have ever left him.
Yeah, guys, we left him.
Well,
He left us.
actually.
Yeah, he left us.
Yeah,
He was
but,
pretty mean to me, and then he left us.
Yeah,
So.
he was.
He did have a
I mean-
kind of a rude behavior, but that doesn't mean he should be fallen to victim to the pirates.
No.
If I know one thing about Rayner, he's can be quite stubborn at times, but very capable and very self-sufficient. If he made a choice to go off on his own, he did it within sound mind. We will hope for the best. Perhaps this individual may or may not know where Rayner's gone to.
Okay.
Okay.
But why? What am I thinking? Let's leave this prison for one last time today, and we can go get ourselves some wonderful fish stew.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so
Are we all no longer concerned about the safety of the ship that's about to be demolished?
Well, that's why we captured this guy. We can't get him to interrogate until he wakes up.
Yeah, I don't think we actually saw a ship yet. We're just assuming there will be a ship because that's usually what happens when the storm comes in.
Yes.
Were we not assuming that they were gathering where the ship is about to come in?
We did assume that. That's why we went and got this guy.
Okay, as long as we don't waste time and innocents are not killed.
Well, I don't think there's much more we can do right now. We have to wait to talk to this guy because we don't even really know if he's part of anything, right? Like, you want to just go and kill all those people on the beach? We don't even know.
Well, he will be out for hours, but we don't know what they are up to. We should probably go there and keep an eye on them.
I think that's dangerous. It's gonna get dark. And
As much as I can see your logic in that, we do need our rest as well.
Mm-hmm. I'm hungry.
Fair enough. Let's go
if-
eat. I am not familiar with the hunger pains.
They suck.
Ollie, perhaps I can be of some assistance. Perhaps Sky can potentially send a scout out to the location that you've described to potentially watch over the area to see if there's any survivors, and if there are, to bring them back here. Would that make you feel
That
a
would
bit
make
more
me feel-
comfortable?
Much more comfortable.
Wonderful. I'll speak to Sky immediately for you. But for the time being, perhaps we should have allow your friends some time to feast.
Agreed.
Very good then. Well, if you'll follow me, I'll take you to the common area that we usually set up for all of our dinner services. He escorts you a little bit further down the beach from what you guys from where you guys have been so far. There seems to be a large canopy, a large tent, open air tent that seems to have been set up, probably about the size of the interior of the town hall where you originally met Shepard. There's a few kind of tables that have been set up, very makeshift, really just kind of chopped down logs that have been kind of hammered together. There seems to be quite a few faces there. You do see Smeltsy and Granny May both sitting together, seemingly enjoying themselves over a cup of warm fish stew. You can see Almerac speaking with a few other individuals, kind of laughing, having a good time together. Shepard kind of shows you the exterior of everything and says, "By all means, help yourself. I'll go find Sky right now and see if we can't get a scout sent out to your previous location."
Thank you.
As you walk over, there's quite a few spaces that are available. A couple of people that you haven't met yet, kind of give you a little bit of a look, not a little bit of a suspicious look, not something that imposes any kind of aggression or threat towards any of you. Just unsure of you. At the front of the tent, there seems to be a larger table with a large stock pot of fish stew, a few wooden bowls that are laid out, as well as a few wooden spoons to be used as utensils.
Is there like a buffet line?
It's kind of set up like a self-serve thing. There doesn't seem to be anybody else that is lined up. As you kind of look around and walk up, most people seem to be finishing their bowls. So probably you missed the start of dinner service, but you've been able to catch the tail end.
Oh, I'll go right for it.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Do you need help getting any soup out?
Oh, for who?
You. Can you reach up over the bowl?
Oh, do I? Can I reach it?
Unfortunately, it is a little too high for you.
I just look at Elara. Because she went to go get soup right away too, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna look up at you.
All right, I'll help him out.
Elara, you kind of look down and see these big, almost Japan anime style eyes kind of looking up to you, little slight quiver in the bottom lip as Eli looks up to you. The stew is still very warm. There's still a bit of a smoke coming off of it, or steam coming off of it, as you kind of dole out 2 bowls worth, handing one down to Eli.
I say thank you, and then I want to walk away slurping really loud.
Oh, I will immediately start to try and slurp louder again.
Oh my god.
All right, performance checks from both of you. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this right.
Yep. Okay.
Dishing my stuff.
14.
That is an 8.
An 8. So Eli, as you kind of walk away slurping, enjoying yourself, kind of a big smile on your face, you notice a almost equally as loud slurping from behind you. Trying to, not wanting to be upstaged in any way, shape, or form, you start to slurp louder, to the point of where the two of you are now essentially having a slurp off against one another. Everyone around you has now stopped eating and are staring directly at you as you both, with intensity in your faces, are staring each other in the eye, slurping as loud as you possibly can. As Almarak kind of walks over to you, all towering over both of you, he reaches down and pulls the stew bowls out from underneath, or from out of your hands, putting it down on tables, and says, "Yes, well, we do have utensils here. If you would prefer to use it, it might not be such a commotion for our."
This is just how I eat.
Yeah. What if I want to eat like this?
Yeah, what if she wants to eat like that?
Yes, well, of course. Who am I to judge? Of course, eat how you will. And he says, I will see you all some other time. And he proceeds to leave the tent as now other people are starting to get up, giving you kind of a stink eye. Both of you stink eyes as they kind of take their bowls with them and walk off towards somewhere else.
I want to take my bowl and I want to give her like a cheers, and then I want to keep slurping.
Okay,
Nice.
so
Congratulations, you cleared the room.
the two of you cheers with pride, as if a wonderful ale itself, as you tilt your head back, putting the wooden bowls to your mouths and slurping as loudly as humanly possible.
Here we go. And then I'm going to burp.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Large belches come from both of you. Eli, you're actually quite impressed with the lung capacity of Elara's burp.
Nice.
I wish me I could actually burp on command right now. That would be great. But I can't.
I can. I'm going to make the decision not to.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
No.
Have we not done enough already tonight, guys? Jesus, Murphy. Do we really want to keep going down this road?
No.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoever said we wanted to actually have people watch our show. All right, so as the two have this immense slurping competition, what's everybody else doing?
don't
got my
want to
soup
eat
and
all the
stuff.
rations
Got
of
another-
the people. I do enjoy the taste of food, but I don't need it. So I'm just studying how different cultures are eating. Very interested in this slurping that's going on.
Okay. Trying to get a sense of the cultural acceptance of this quote unquote slurping competition. You watch intently as the two kind of reach their grand finale. Not knowing what to do, you kind of look around and awkwardly begin to clap, seemingly very impressed with what's happening, but eventually slow down your clap as you now see that the reaction of other individuals are maybe not as excited as you were.
Thanks, Ollie.
Pavo, what did you say you were doing?
I grabbed my bowl and I sat at a different table.
I am very tempted to give you inspiration right now. Yeah, absolutely. You go find a table, sit down beside some other people, and just kind of motion towards them like, huh, these guys, am I right? Who brought them in? As you kind of sit down and begin to eat your stew.
I turn my eyes to the bird because I'm very interested in how he eats.
Okay.
Looking at it.
You watch as he struggles for a minute with a spoon as he's kind
I
of.
can put the spoon at the edge.
Oh, sorry, come again.
I can put the spoon at the edge and kind of tip it in.
Yeah, so he at first
Going
tries
down.
to go in at the front, realizing that there's probably not enough clearance. He's more just kind of stabbing it into the side and then tipping it a little bit as he kind of drains it down into his beak.
Just gobbles it down.
Yeah. Kind of like, have you ever seen like a pelican eat a fish? Where he kind of like sticks it out the side before it kind of ends up in his throat, kind of jammering around. Similar to that, but with a small spoon.
I'm not sure what's more elegant, that or the slurping.
No one said you had to watch.
Alcor and Trix, what are you guys doing?
Oh, I've been intently watching the whole competition back and forth, and so realized I haven't eaten any of my soup, and now I'm just like excited that I haven't eaten any of it, and I just like scarf down the rest of it.
Fair enough. You hear a voice in your head say to you, "Do you really want to be part of this? These are fools. These are children that are playing games. They can get us killed."
Oh, no one got killed from slurping. I keep eating.
Very well then. Very well. I urge you to watch with cautions with these ones then, little one. Alcor, what are you watching or partaking in the slurp competition in any way?
Oh no, as soon as the slurping started, I just walked out of the tent with my bowl and went.
Okay, fair enough. All right. If there's nothing else, we'll assume that you've all finished your stews. Had your belly's now full. Is there anything else anyone would like to do before we call it a night? In game.
Like
in game.
in game.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Finished? No?
Yeah. I want to go and read some of my books and write in my journal before bed.
Okay.
Your
Books of
pirate
pirates?
So I've seen
Yes.
a real pirate. I can confirm.
Yeah.
Dear diary.
And out of game, I just really want to say, if they were slurping and live action role playing, they were slarping.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
I'm tempted. No, not that time.
Pretty good.
LARPing.
All right, so Elara's going to go off and start doing some of her studies, writing in her journal about the pirate she met today, as well as putting some extra notes in there in regarding to minor illusion, just trying to find a mastery of the overall spell.
I will work on my map of the sky.
Okay. So you'll probably want to wait until it's completely dark out to get a sense of the stars. So we'll say that you may maybe stay up a little bit later than everybody else to do, not too much later, but to really start doing a little bit of research into your map and the stars. Anybody else?
I would like to poke the pirate with a stick to see if he's awake.
You going back to?
You're going to go back to the prison and poke him with a stick?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to see if he's up, but no one really has to come. I just want to do that.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. You go over. Thomas kind of stands at attention and says, "Is there anything I can do, Mr. Eli?"
Is he awake yet?
You're more than happy to go look for yourself, but from the snoring that I hear from there, I believe he's still out.
I'll just poke him anyway.
You poke him?
Yeah, with a stick. I just want to poke at him. See what happens.
Poke the prisoner with a stick. All right. That's very interesting methods that you have of interrogation, but who am I to judge? After you kind of walk in there with a long pointed stick, relatively flimsy. You kind of just found it off. It's more or less a branch that you found off the ground. You begin to poke the pirate. How long are you going to poke the pirate for? Sounds like a game.
I don't know, like a few good ones, like a couple maybe good jabs to see if he does anything, like wake him up or.
Oh yeah, no, you go over. Hey,
Poke the pirate.
hey, you there? Hey. Doesn't seem to do anything. He's he kind of just rolls over and no, Mama got a boo.
Okay. Leave, and then I'll go tell the rest of the group that the pirate is still like dead asleep.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna go out to the beach and start just slashing and stabbing the air and getting used to my new scimitar, since I'll be switching to that.
Okay, absolutely. So we'll start off with Elara. Elara, unless Trix, is there anything you'd like to do?
Oh, actually, yes. I'm going to take the spoon that I was eating and I'm going to put it in my pocket, and then I'm going to look around, and then I'm going to grab any other spoons that I find.
Okay. Make an investigation check for me.
Okay. That is 13.
13. Yeah, no, you absolutely find quite a few spoons. Collecting them all, you've probably got about 20, 25 of these wooden spoons.
Rock on. Great.
Okay.
That's all.
Fair enough. So Trix, you steal as many of these wooden spoons as you possibly can before making your way to your respective tent and calling it a night. Ollie, you spend probably another hour or two trying to get a feel. It feels very unnatural to you at first. It's such a weak, flimsy sword in comparison to the heavy mace that you've been using so far. You really don't feel comfortable with it, and as you do, you kind of say just a tiny prayer inside of your mind to try and help, further your understanding of the scimitar and how it all works. Elara, you spend quite a bit of time studying your text, making your notes, everything along those lines. You feel you've sufficiently worked out everything that you could scholarly perspective to determine whether or not you've come any closer to mastering the minor illusion. As the rest of you begin to head to bed, Alcor, you stay up a little bit later than everyone and begin to stare up at the stars. As you continue to look for answers in the sky, you become slightly entranced by the bright lights hanging overhead. You begin to feel a strange tingling sensation in both of your shoulders. Tingling begins to travel down your biceps on both sides towards your elbows, and then continues down your fingertips. Looking down at your arms, you can see the palm of your hands and the crux of your elbows now shimmer a soft silver light. Your head begins to spin for a moment as you lay back at the sky. You look upward once again, and one constellation you could swear is shining just a little bit brighter than the other stars. You recognize it as the Archer constellation that you had studied so many times before. Taken aback by the experience, your head begins to swim as the sudden wave of nausea kind of begins to cascade over you. You're not sure what to do. You put your hands towards your temples and put your hands down, and as quickly as it started, it fades. And then it's gone. You look back down at your hands. Everything seems to have seemingly returned to normal. But you feel deep down that there's almost as if something's beginning to awaken inside of you. A small feeling of this new energy flows through you.
We look around to make sure nobody saw that.
Make a perception check for me.
Perception. That's dirty 20.
Dirty 20. About 20 feet, about 20 to 30 yards away from you, you see a single figure leaning up with her arms crossed, watching you intently, not saying a word, not making any kind of facial expressions. As the glow fades, you feel a little bit of insecurity or panic as this individual kind of continues to watch you. You recognize her as she walks into a little bit of the starlight. You recognize her as Sky. Without saying a word, she kind of pushes herself off the back of the wall of the hut, of the exterior wall of the hut, and simply turns and walks away from you.
I would stay outside a bit longer, then head inside.
Okay. You spend probably another half an hour or so realizing that it's probably far past your time for bedding. You eventually head back to your designated tent, finding your favorite panda mask, popping it over your eyes, and finding rest easy for the night.
I'm dead.
So, before I headed to my tree, take out my new bamboo pole and start practicing with it.
Absolutely. So, you spend, how long are you going to spend doing it?
A half an hour.
Half an hour? Okay. Spending about half an hour, you begin to train with this staff, feeling more and more confident and comfortable with the weapon as you train. It reminds you very much of some of the pole arms that you trained with back at the monastery. As you continue to train, you feel yourself moving a little bit faster than you have before, a little bit quicker. You're not sure if it's the training, if it's the experiences that you've been gathering, but something seems to be stirring inside you as well. Not being able to get a full grasp of what's exactly is happening, you finish your training for the night before you head down for bedding.
cosplay up to the treetop,
Okay.
nestle in, meditate for a little bit, and then go to sleep.
Okay. Awaking the next morning, you all kind of stretch it out, make sure that. Oh yeah, no, that was a good night's rest.
Wing spread.
Oh yeah, getting that full spread to really feel that what a perfect timing on the music switch there. You all awake, kind of making your way outside of your respective tents. Surprisingly, Ollie's not there.
Do a fly a loop around the cove to see.
Sure, absolutely. Taking to the skies, you kind of do a quick aerial viewing of the area, where you seem to find a strange pattern kind of carved out into the sand. Going and bringing yourself down to close to where this strange pattern in the sand is, you find Ollie there in his stasis mode, as it was described to you originally. Unsure what exactly you're looking at. You seem like everything's fine. It seems like everything's fine.
Tap him.
As you tap Ollie, he springs awake. He's back to consciousness.
Good morning.
Morning.
How was your night?
Well, mine was very good. How was yours?
Can't complain.
Great. Well, I thought there was something wrong with you. Is that normal for you?
Nothing seems wrong.
Ollie,
That's
looking around, you realize now that you are nowhere near where you went into shutdown mode.
Something wrong?
That's odd. Where are we?
We're on the beach.
This is not where I powered down for the night.
Do you tend to sleepwalk?
I sleep stand.
Oh god.
Do you normally move in your sleep?
Not as much as I recall. I've typically come back to where I shut down, almost as if time just snaps for a second.
So, looking at the floor, are there more than one footsteps?
There's no other footsteps. Simply some circles and lines and a few sigils that seem to be etched into the sands. You do, however, notice what looks to be a brand new restored mace sitting in the very center of the sigil circle.
Is that your mace?
Oddly. Yeah. But that's not the condition I left it in.
Well, that's good news then.
It is curious news. Very curious.
So we made up with the others.
Yes, I need
Okay.
to think about this for a while. Let's join the others.
All right,
Fly back over them.
you guys make your way back to the rest of the group. They seem to be quite happy to see the return of their good friend Ollie. It is now the morning. What would you guys like to do?
They didn't miss me, huh?
No, considering you were there all of like 2 minutes ago, I'm going to say no, they probably didn't miss you.
should we go check on the pirate by definition?
A pirate by any other name.
Yes, let's go check it on our captor.
All right. I'll start skipping down the road.
You're going to skip along the beach? Okay, so Elara takes off skipping. The rest of you kind of still relatively groggy from it being the early morning. You make your way over to the prison area where you can hear some relatively profane words being yelled out from the cell.
Somebody's not happy.
What does he look like? Is he just yelling, or is like?
Oh
what's
yeah,
he
no, you
yelling
can.
About? Like, let me out, or like?
Well, I mean, being someone of sensible nature, you probably wouldn't really want to say out loud what the words he's calling out. But you get the gist of "let me out," and then a plethora of cursing and accusative words being spit out from the prison bars.
All right, I will go and say, "Good morning, sir. How are you this fine day?"
Oh yeah, well, very fine indeed. You take me prisoner. You just a bunch of savages. You are. I demand you let me out right here, right now.
Well. You're not a prisoner. We just needed you.
Oh, I'm not a prisoner then, eh? Twinkle Toes.
No.
Well, go ahead and let me out then.
We need you there just while we have a conversation. And then we'll see where it goes.
I ain't telling you nothing. And he spits at you.
Well, that was not polite.
I'll just turn around and say, okay, someone else talk to him.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Do your worst, good doer, goody two-shoes. You ain't getting nothing out of this brick wall.
I will turn around and cast Minor Illusion, and I will use my stink bomb again.
We're all in the room too.
No, just in his cage. I think it's only 5. It's a 5-foot cube. So
Okay.
in his cage, and I will then turn around and say, someone else can talk to him.
That's not gonna go well for me.
The rest of the party goes ahead and begins to attempt to walk toward it, but the character behind bars is now screaming, "Oh, you vile creatures! Oh, Jesus, Murphy! What kind of savages are you? Do you show no mercy whatsoever?"
Oh, it's easy.
I want to say whoever smelt it dealt it.
Oh, he definitely dealt it.
Yes, we were there.
He kind of puts his shirt over his nose and says, "You dastardly scumbags."
Okay, who's taking care of this? He's just gonna laugh at me, make fun of me.
Oh, he'd laugh at you. I think
'Cause
you're a
he
fine candidate.
because
Whoa,
he should.
buddy!
See?
Don't make me make it smell worse.
You would. You tyrant. You're a tyrant.
I cast Minor Illusion again and make it smell like double rotten.
Oh, no. Pain and torture. What's wrong with you people? This is inhumane. Not even pirates would act this way.
Are you a pirate?
Maybe. Fine. Just get her away from me. She's just... This is torture. Oh.
You'll talk?
Fine, whatever you want. Just get rid of this awful smell.
Can you control the smell?
I just looking that up. Just see
We
if
can
I
cast
can
something
get
else to make it smell nicer.
Oh yeah.
We have seen the storm clouds in the sky. We know what this means. We know that you plan on harming innocents. We've seen it.
Yeah, and?
Why would you do this?
That's the deal.
What
What
deal are
deal?
you talking about?
Oh, the deal between the pirates and the whatever those weird cult people are. The cult brings the people to the island. We pirates collect them, and in return, the pirates get to keep whatever they find.
What do the cult people want these people for?
No idea, to be honest with you. Then again, I have no idea about them. They're creepy weirdos that wear dark blue robes. I mean, God, who wants to wear a dark blue robe in this kind of weather? It must be hot as the 9 hells out here. Don't really say much.
So you know of Matu.
Oh, that creepy little bastard. Yeah, no, I'm quite well aware of him. Mostly stays to himself in a hut up to the north of the marsh. Just a little east of here, actually. Rumor has it that he takes the children from the ships. And as he says this, Trix, you all of a sudden remember the small trinkets hanging from his staff.
Oh.
Talia hates him, rather run him through, but our deal's with the cult, and they will need him alive for some reason.
And he murders the children?
Your guess is as good as mine. But,
And what's the deal
you
with
know,
this
I don't see
storm?
any children running around here, so I'm assuming he kills them, eats them, flays them, changes them. I don't know.
And what do the pirates get from the cult?
Well, we get all the belongings of anything that we find. Gold, antiquities, some weapons, items. Pretty lucrative business. We don't actually have to go out and...
That's worth more to you than the lives of innocents.
Well, absolutely. We get stuff.
You're gross.
I'm gross. Have you seen what your tyrant of a teammate does to individuals? No one deserves this kind of treatment.
You do.
Can't see a smell.
And what about the storm? Is these cult people controlling it? Controlling these storms?
Well, from the best of my understanding, there's something to do with the strange sea creature, the storms. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to any of that part of it.
Have you guys encountered any other groups on the island?
Sure. It's our job.
Okay. And who have you encountered?
Hmm.
I don't mean like people whose ships and lives you destroy. I mean like people who are already here on the island other than the cult.
As far as I know, we were the ones who started it all here. Well, us and the cult. It's the agreement we made. It's just business.
Sure. You've never encountered like almost a tribe that has black stones decorating their weapons and
Black
things
stones. Black stones are a myth. That's something that some of the other prisoners, whatever you want to call you people, it's something they make up. It's the boogeyman of the island, so to speak.
And how does that
It's not
myth
real.
go?
Well, when apparently there's one that does not want to see this kind of conflict on the island, and apparently has something to do with it, but I've never seen a Blackstone. I've never heard of the Blackstone. It's a myth. It's simply a myth.
Saved our lives and killed some of your comrades.
You actually saw this Blackstone.
We saw the weapons. We wouldn't be standing here talking to you if it wasn't for those weapons and whoever shot them.
Right. So you saw somewhat a weapon, a dagger, or something along those lines with a black stone in it?
An arrow in front of her eyes.
Ah, well, you've figured it out then, Mr. Detective. Well done. Anybody can embed Blackstone. How do we know it's not you people?
I mean, because we just got here and he just told you that those people shot an arrow at us, I feel like physically, scientifically, that doesn't make any sense. But that's a great hypothesis. No, we'll
Always a
we'll
bluff.
consider that for sure.
How do we know you're not bluffing?
I mean, at the end of the day, what does it matter what this
Yeah.
guy thinks?
Yeah.
Guess it doesn't.
Agreed. Let's go get Sky. She's gonna be a lot meaner to you.
Meaner than this one? I doubt it.
I'll squint my eyes at him.
As you squint your eyes at him, all of a sudden he starts to heave violently. Retching up, you can see his entire body almost shiver and shake as he begins to cough and heave loudly as a black oily goo begins to be vomited out of his mouth. The stench of rotten fish once again fills the air, as you are quite familiar with at this point. You watch as he begins to reach around his throat, almost clawing at his own throat as it begins to expand wider, as if something is beginning to protrude out from his throat from down underneath. He heaves over one last time, and then throwing his head back, you now watch as a black tendril begins to emerge from his mouth, flailing to and fro as he continues to claw, trying to breathe, gasp for breath. He can no longer. You watch as his eyes are now becoming quite bulged. His face is now extremely red as veins are popping up around his neck as this tentacle begins to reach and flap out towards all of you. This lasts for a brief moment before the man begins to gurgle, eyes wide, falls down, unmoving.
Okay,
Well,
just
that
for the
went from
record.
0 to 100.
Yeah, that was not me, guys. Just for the record, I know it looks like it was because I'm really cool like that, but that was not me.
Is it still
This is quite a
moving?
development.
There seems to be a little bit of kind of aftershock twitches that are happening within the body, but the tentacle itself is no longer moving.
Somebody
Does
check
this-
him.
I would like to poke him again.
He pokes back.
Yeah, finding your stick from the night before, you kind of reach in.
Okay, guys, I
Can
think
I
he's dead.
can I look around to see if somebody cast that on him?
Absolutely, make a perception check for me.
$12.
You kind of walk outside of the cave, and where you don't see anything, the coast seems to be completely clear. You hear a strange noise emanate from seemingly all around you, almost that of a strange children's laughter.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Do we all hear that?
Nope, just Ollie.
Okay.
I'm gonna come back in and be like, "Did you all hear the children?
No, we did
No.
not.
Good.
I heard the laughter of children. They must still be alive."
Okay.
Where
So
did
we-
it come from?
It was. I went out and it was all around me. I heard them. They were laughing.
Probably a spell. That Machu
Yeah.
guy cast some nasty spell and killed this dude because he was talking.
Well, how did he know he was talking?
I don't know. He's a weird, creepy shaman.
Is this guy actually dead? Is it another dead person?
Oh, well, I
Appears-
poked him. He's pretty dead.
That's fine. We would have had to kill him if he didn't die anyway. He knew where the village was, so
He would
They
have
would have-
been a danger to everybody here.
yeah.
You all suddenly hear a voice coming from the doorway. Yes, how convenient for all of you. And you say my tactics are a little too brutal.
You think we killed him?
We didn't
Turning,
do this.
you see the Commander Sky standing in the doorway, arms folded.
We didn't do this.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. Of course you didn't do this. He
Point
just
to the tentacle.
magically
That-
happened to die on the floor in front of us.
That's
Yes.
accurate.
That's
Literally,
exactly
yeah.
what
Correct.
happened. Look at that thing that came out of him. It was inside of him this entire time.
A mere curse? Are you telling me that none of you are capable of magical and arcane feats?
Not that.
Yeah, not that. Are
But
you
you
sure
are-
that elixir from Granny May can be trusted?
Granny May
Yeah.
has been one of us for quite some time. She's healed me directly. You, on the other hand, are all outsiders who just happened to show up,
I mean,
complain
you can
about
go-
my tactics, and then as soon as you attempt to do the same interrogation, another body lies on the only source of information that we truly could have had. Meanwhile, the ones that we captured walks freely amongst us. You see
first
where
of
this
all-
is a little concerning.
Whatever. You captured Smeltsy, and you guys were awful to him. This is some nasty pirate we found taking a dump in the woods, who we brought here. You don't have to believe us, but if you choose not to, you're gonna end up with more problems like that, and it won't be us because none of us are capable of that.
It's
Off
your
high
word.
horse.
It's your word against mine, but from what I've seen so far, your Smeltsy, or whatever you refer to him as, how do I know he's not a plant?
He came
He's
here with
very
us. We've
Much
known him
not
for-
a plant.
I've met
There's
you
no
all
foliage.
of once.
All right.
All of once.
Because he was on the ship that we were on that was destroyed by the pirates.
Right. Of course.
You know, when you talk
Why
to
would
Smeltsy
we
more,
lie?
you're gonna feel really bad that you were mean to him because he's actually a nice guy.
And we did not touch this prisoner at all.
Just so we're perfectly clear, I'm watching every single one of you. She looks directly at Alcor and says, and more specifically, you.
I will use my mind link and I will tell her I'm watching you too.
She kind of is taken aback for a moment by what she hears, and kind of gives a cut eye to all of you. Yes, well, we'll see where this takes us then. And she turns and walks out the door.
I want to tell Elara that she should have done her fart thing.
Her most powerful spell.
I should have, but I that was just craziness.
She's so rude.
I'm rude.
No.
No,
God.
her.
Oh.
If she doesn't trust us, why does she let us roam freely in her camp?
She doesn't want to. The other are okay with us. She doesn't trust us.
I don't get it. We've done them so many favors already.
Yeah.
We've done more than they've seemed to have been able
Yeah.
to accomplish, so it doesn't make any sense to me.
We
Well-
should check the body for any markings or anything. Why was he able to be killed and we haven't been murdered?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe
How
part
much
of the
is this?
ritual of being allies with the shaman is they implant them with stuff.
Yeah.
And now that they couldn't find him, maybe that was just a some type of-
Cyanide pill.
in a way, yes.
I think they know exactly where they are. They just let them leave here. There's one of them here. That's what I think.
Unless they were able to trace this person back here, then now we've just compromised the whole camp.
Well, what
You
do
think
we
there's
do?
like a spy
No,
out there?
but if even the guy in the cage, he says like, yeah, the guy lives like in the hut to the north. It's just east from here, so he knew exactly where he was.
Matu? Yeah.
So the guy in the cage knew exactly where he was right now.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Well, they
He
have
knows
an
Well,
what-
out.
if this was a cultist attack, and we now know where Matu is, and potentially that he's holding children, that's exactly where we should be going right now.
We'll try to go convince Sky of that.
Well, I don't think she's going to come with us.
Yeah, why don't we just go?
But it's
But should we at least share the information just that way they
Yeah.
have
Let's tell
something?
Shepard. Tell
And-
Shepard.
Yeah, and we should find out if Rayner has made it back or not. Because I find this weird.
I have a feeling he's there.
Yes,
Hmm.
he would have been back by now, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
At
Maybe
least
maybe
give
he's the
Sky
kind of
some
guy that.
information.
Yeah.
Because she thinks we just killed him.
Whatever.
Oops.
Let's go talk. We can talk to Shepard.
Okay.
I feel like that's probably a better idea. Did anybody just see this go down, or like where's Thomas?
The guard should have been here.
Yeah, Thomas should have been
Thomas
here
is
from the
Thomas is just standing just outside of the door. So he kind of is peeking in now and again, but really not sure what to make of it. His kind of position is that he saw the standoff between you and Sky. He's been given his directive by Shepard. He is just trying to stay out of it at this point.
Yeah, thank you for saving your life.
Thomas, did you not hear the laughter of the children?
Laughter of children? No. I heard a gurgling of a dead man with a tentacle coming out of his throat. I'm not sure what exactly to think today. This has been a very odd day to begin with. I haven't had breakfast yet, and this is where
breakfast,
we're
anyone?
at. No, I don't think I'll be having any breakfast this morning now.
I'll have squid.
Gross.
Gross.
So maybe we should go find Shepard, tell him our information, and then see what the next step should be.
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
do it.
So, so you guys are. I thought I heard someone wanting to inspect the body, or are you just guys
Oh,
going
yeah.
straight to Shepard?
Oh yeah.
Let's check the body out.
Yeah.
Ollie
Okay.
was saying that.
Ollie, you reach down or bend down to inspect the body. As you touch it, the chest in particular, there seems to be a little bit of warmth coming from the chest. Not so much like that of what you would get from a typical human warmth. This is something different. You also seem a touch of a steam or a smoke as you start to kind of look underneath the pirate shirt. As you unbutton the shirt and open it up, you now see the smoking sigil of a fish scale branded into his entire chest.
Do I recognize it being the same as the scale insignia from the note?
It is identical to the fish scale sigil that you found within the note.
Interesting. He's got the scale insignia on his chest, like on the note. But the note wasn't written by Matu, it was written to Matu.
Yeah, but that's the sign of the cult, I guess. That's.
Mm-hmm.
They might just use it to like mark all of their correspondence.
Maybe, yeah. They seem very organized, I guess.
So he's got like some kind of creepy control over all the people in the cult.
Maybe it is a curse that they put on them or something that they can just trigger whenever they step on a line.
They don't seem to be aware of it.
That's true. He did talk pretty freely.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Yeah.
he held this one close to his chest.
Jesus.
Right. Why?
I mean, having creepy control of all the members of the cult seems like, by definition, a cult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Just in case it's a way of tracking, maybe we should make sure not to bring anybody back here again.
Yeah. I think that's a fair point. What do we want to do with this body? Hey, Thomas.
Yeah. Thomas, clean up aisle 4.
Oh, yes. What can I do for you?
We got a job for you, bud.
Of course. What can I do for you?
I think, like, have you ever disposed of a body?
Okay, so no breakfast, and now I'm assuming I'm not going to be eating lunch. As he kind of...
You can totally eat first, but I don't know if you want to.
Don't think I'm going to be able to, but thank you, Eli, for the suggestion.
Maybe just wait. Let Shepard come see the body first, and then that would be a big help.
Let Shepard decide what they should do with the body.
Would you like me to go get Shepard?
Sure, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Thomas leaves for but a brief moment, heading towards the large town hall, so to speak, on the Survivor Cove beach, as you all kind of just stand huddled around in a circle, staring down at this strange pirate corpse with a tentacle coming out of its mouth and a sizzling branding of a fish scale directly within his chest. And that is where we're going to leave our episode for tonight.
Oh, no.
Lots of questions going on, guys. Lots of questions. Lots of things happening.
Oh, no.
Now the question is that will you be able to find answers for them? Only time will tell.
Damn
Yes,
right.
we will.
Damn right.
Well, as always, thank you everyone for watching. We've had a wonderful time with you all. We will be back next week. Probably not in costume, other than Pavo. I think he's now committed to wearing the bird mask for the rest of the campaign. But otherwise, hopefully you enjoyed yourself. You can catch it next Sunday, I believe, is when our streams go up. If you've missed anything, or if you came a little bit later, you'll be able to catch it there. As always, we've got our RPG nights on Thursday, and then we have a wonderful little building session, our world building session happening on Sunday. We have a lot of fun. That's where I do my solo thing. Come on in. We talk about each other's creations. We build some new stuff. It's a blast. We all have a good time. So, but otherwise, I'd like to once again thank you for everybody who's joined us tonight. And just keep in mind, adventurers, you should be careful out there. You can trip. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.